everybody. Malik here, all cleaned up. And guys, we have reached the conclusion of Stage 2 here at the Overwatch League, which means we're getting ready to crown our Stage 2 champion. The Blizzard Arena is quite amped today. They are ready for the action. And we have a whole lot of that in store for you today. Up first, we have the Philadelphia Fusion going up against the London Spitfire, and the winner of that match will take on the NYXL for the Stage 2 championship. $125,000 are up for grabs. Guys, that's a whole lot of money right there. Whole lot of cheddar. Now, Stage 2 has been a long, long road. It's been a roller coaster ride. We've seen new players, new lineups, a new meta, a new map pool, new teams rising to the top of the pack. So let's take a look at this long, long road to the Stage 2 playoffs.
This is day one of Stage 2, and we got a brand new meta, new maps, new players on new teams. That is EQO, the man from Israel, showing up to play for the Fusion.
Oh my god, man, this guy, he doesn't care, he just melees you to death.
Fisher has been added to the team from the London Spitfire, and he's been one of the best tanks ever.
Fisher right there, coming up big. The acquisitions are very valuable for Gladiators right now.
Big test for AKM as he takes the stage for the first time.
What a perfect cleanup for AKM. This is a commanding performance from the Dallas Fuel.
It's a big battle. Houston versus London, the rematch again.
When you've got Spree all charged up on energy like that, he just turns into this damage-dealing beast.
They will take down the London Spitfire. Revenge to open up Stage 2.
This is going to be one of the big monster matchups after the Stage 1 playoffs and how close it was there. And that is going to be it! London Spitfire will win yet again, 3-2.
No! The Philadelphia Fusion reverse sweep the Houston Outlaws.
I don't think that Dallas was expecting Seoul to be this aggressive. And Seoul Dynasty will barely pull it out. They will remain undefeated here in Stage 2.
What's that?
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Zappies!
Surely that's it. They've done it! The Florida Mayhem!
It's a team that is on the rise after a rough Stage 1.
That's going to be a very special game for Fisher, as he used to be working alongside the guys from the London Spitfire.
런던이 저를 다른 팀에 팔았는데 그 팀이 자기 팀보다 세질 거라고 생각은 못했겠죠. 그거에 있어서 후회하길 빌게요.
The Gladiators have won the series! I can't believe it!
This is the moment we've all been looking forward to. New York, Seoul, it happens here in week 4.
And it's a swift, clean kill. NYXL take the series 3-2. NYXL hand Seoul their first loss of the season. Young money, cash money, billionaires, let's go! This series is already over. History repeats itself. And the Seoul Dynasty once again pull up short.
It's playoff week, and I couldn't be more pumped, man. Asher in a lot of trouble, goes down, gets cut. Philadelphia Fusion will take the series 3-1.
Seoul must win the next map to stay in the series, or the Outlaws will take it away. And Houston will take the series!
For the second time, the Seoul Dynasty lose a very important match in the last week.
It's the Gladiators.
You need this win to have a chance at the playoffs, and it's not looking good. Boston are going to ruin this party right out the gate.
Tomorrow is going to be having some absolute bangers of games.
We got the Stage 2 playoffs of the Overwatch League. You don't want to miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise! I hope you guys are ready, because we have an awesome day of Overwatch coming your way. It is playoff time. 2 matches decide it all. Who will walk away as our Stage 2 champions? Welcome back to the desk. I'm your host, Puckett, and we got a great crew for you. We got our insider, Zoe, our 6'7" reinforcement, and of course, the extra from Narcos that we picked up outside the set.
Okay.
I like that mustache.
I wish I could grow on Puckett, but you and me, we have to suffer with the baby face. It's the way life goes.
One day, one day. Now, we mentioned it at the top. We are going to have 2 great matches for you, and we're going to see it all start here with our 2 versus 3 seed. At the end of the 10 games for each of the squads in Stage 2, we had Philadelphia sneaking in with the number 3 seed, and you see they now match up against London, who comes in at number 2. The winner of our first match moves on to play New York Excel, and that's where we start dishing out some serious
And this
cash.
is where we see the quality Overwatch pocket. These three teams are going to decide today who is going to walk away as the Stage 2 title champions.
Absolutely, so let's jump right into our first game. Are you guys ready? Let's do this. Philadelphia, sick lineup. They're getting better. They've added new faces. The young talent starting to shine. When you look at this roster as a whole, who are the biggest names that our audience needs to look out for today?
Well, it's EQO. I mean, this guy has just been the addition that when Philadelphia has put him on, the teamwork improves, the versatility that they have just has gone skyrocketed. So this is the guy that in combination with Carpe have made this team where they are now.
Absolutely, and remember, these two teams met up once before in Stage 1, but EQO was missing in that series, Zoe.
Yeah, and because he wasn't in the lineup, the team just didn't look quite as strong as they did in pretty much every game where he was fielded. I did talk to him prior to the match, and he said that they actually lacked cohesion and had communication issues because he was not there. And today, this is what he's going to be bringing to the table. There will be more teamwork and a lot more focus, according to EQO.
Yeah, he has a big hero pool, but he doesn't boast it all the time. Over 50% of the time, he's playing Genji. So this could be something that the London Spitfire could exploit. Sometimes we see other players take advantage of that, stick to the Pharah. So he's a very flexible player, but they have to really zone in on that to make it work today.
I want to see some more Widowmaker, especially against Birdring. Can we get some of that a little bit later on? Speaking of Birdring, let's look at the London lineup. This is one of the most stacked lineups in the league. And remember, this is now without Rascal, this is without Fissure, and already this squad is looking like a world
But
best.
I mean, let's be honest, Pocket, they don't need them. This is the star-studded lineup. These are the gods of the Overwatch League, in my opinion. We have Bedosian, Gesture, Prophet, Birdring, and now Fury in the lineup as well. This team, to me, they are the best when it comes down to it. Last time, in the Stage 1 playoffs, of course, they were dominant. And look at these map scores. I mean, going up against Philadelphia, 4-0 on Gibraltar, 4-0 on Hanamura. On Route 66, 6-0. So, I mean, going into today's matchup, London Spitfire, they're looking really good.
That's right, guys. Keep in mind, it's playoff time. That means we are not just playing 4 games. It's not like the regular season. No, today, it's a best of 5. You win 3 maps, you're moving on to that championship match. So we talked about both of the squads. Let's talk a little bit about this London squad, though, because they're our Stage 1 champions looking for the repeat. How are they feeling today?
I think they're pretty confident. I did talk to them yesterday during their game, and they said that, you know, they really, really wanted that #1 seed, because obviously that would mean that they would get the opportunity to actually watch their opponents play and get a bit of a feel of how they are like approaching it. And now they're in a position where they unfortunately have to kind of give away strats. I did ask them, will you be hiding something for NYXL in the finals? They said, nah, we can't afford that. Like, it's all or nothing. We need to win the semi-final, and they want to make it a clean one.
Can't wait to get this one started. I'm told by our producer we are just a moment away. So let's wrap it up here at the desk with our predictions. I want to start with you, Crumbs. Where are you going today? Is it the Philadelphia Fusion pulling off the upset over the #2, or are you siding with London?
I'm siding orange today, Puckett. And that orange is not Philadelphia, but it's London instead. So there we go. We're going with the London Spitfire because right now, Birdring and Prophet, they are just absolute beasts at DPS. Typically, Philly takes advantage of weaker DPS and weaker supports, but Bedosian and Nuss are no slouches to taking out DPS, and I think those 4 will be a big difference.
I can tell we actually have Philly fans in the audience because that's the first time I heard a prediction booed. I love it. Johnny, to you, where are we going?
Philadelphia has some great players today. Of course, they have Fragi, Poco, Neptuno, among others. So I'm going with the Europeans today. Rule Britannia, London Spitfire.
Let me hype up Philly and then choose London. I like that move. Sully, where are you going?
You know, Fusion, I really want you guys to win, but sorry, I'm also going with London. You can't sleep on those players. I think they're going to make it.
But the upset, Puckett, the upset.
I'm going with Philadelphia today. Of course it's going to happen, right? Why not? They're here. Let's see them walk away with the victory. That's going to do it for the desk, but we've got Malik down on the floor to kick this baby off.
Thank you very much, Puckett. Guys, both of these teams have been going hard all stage long. They made vast improvements to make it here today. Now remember, they're playing for a shot at tonight's title match against the NYXL and a chance at that $125,000 low. Blizzard Arena, are you guys ready? All right, well, let's introduce our teams right now.
It's go time. Let's get it. Look, the Philly boys.
How much talent is on this team?
It has been all London Spitfire.
Oh boy.
Coco cops one in midair.
Prophet setting it up.
He's hitting everything.
Big resounding fight win for London.
Huge turnaround. Huge. The Philadelphia Fusion.
Let's go!
Oh, I get excited about that stuff, man. Hold me.
And here is your Philadelphia starting lineup. Up first on attack, number 18, Carpe. Also on attack, number 1, EQO. On tank, number 54, Fraggy. On flex tank, Poco. On support, number 42, Boombox. And on support, number 8, Neptuno. Give it up for your Philadelphia Fusion. All right, guys, have a seat. All right, Philadelphia Fusion are getting themselves situated. And in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and introduce our next team. Now, this team is back here in the stage playoffs for the second time in a row. They're gonna be looking to go back-to-back and get back to that stage title match for another championship. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the stage the London Spitfire. Up first, on attack, Birdring. On flex tank, number 19, Fury. Also on attack, number 13, Prophet. On tank, number 7, Gesture. On support, Nuts. And lastly on support, number 22, Bedosian. Give it up for your London Spitfire. All right, guys, have a seat. Well, these guys look quite amped up to get this match going. The Blizzard Arena is definitely ready for it. You guys are ready, right? I'm super ready. I'm gonna go sit down and catch this match and go ahead and send it over to our casters to get us into the action, Monty and Doa.
All right, thank you, Malik. That's right, Doa and Monty here to get us started with Playoff Sunday. Philadelphia Fusion taking on London Spitfire. Man, those desk predictions, I don't know, like, you know, the analysts going a certain way, and then Chris Puckett, you know, I feel like with his prediction, we kind of know what his spirit animal is now. I'm guessing it's a panda bear.
Definitely. I think it makes a lot of sense. You look at his results over the stage, does seem that he tends to go that way. And I don't disagree with everybody on the desk who is not the panda bear, Chris Puckett, which is that London has a pretty big advantage coming in. We look at the history between these two teams. Philadelphia has never won a map. In fact, over 8 maps in these two stages. They have only taken 3 points.
Yes.
So it's been a rough matchup.
You know, however, though, I feel like Philadelphia Fusion right now is a very different team. And you put on top of that, they didn't play EQO in that first match in Stage 2 against London. So while I do agree that London does have a big advantage coming into this one, I think Philly's got a real shot, especially if they can make it to Kings Row.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Kings Row is the most winnable map here for the Fusion, but it is our 4th map in the series, so they have to make it that far, I think, to get some footholds. However, on Gibraltar, they have been good. We've seen Carpe perform extremely well on the Widowmaker, and EQO has had his bright spots on this map as well. And we go back and you look at the way these two teams played against each other early on in Stage 2. It was back on March 3rd. And it was a lot of counter dive from London. Philly was overly aggressive. It was either Fraggy or Boombox dying first in a lot of these engagements. And it was London waiting for a positional error from the Fusion. But in the last week or so, we've seen a lot more controlled play, intelligent play, baiting out of the Fusion. So I don't think that we're going to have exactly that same result if we see the dive versus dive again.
Oh, totally agree, man. Against Valiant, Philadelphia was really good at sort of drawing in the right members of LA and then just kind of punishing the supports hard. So yeah, I do think it's a very different Philadelphia Fusion here. as we get things started on Gibraltar. And it is a best of 5, and it sounds silly to say that if Philadelphia Fusion want to have a chance to win this one, they have to win one of the first 3 maps. Obviously, that's how it works in a best of 5. But we say that because the last 2 maps are really where these guys can shine, but they got to get through Gibraltar in the next 2 maps to do it. Here we go. Philadelphia Fusion on the attack. London Spitfire on the defense in our semifinal for stage 2 here on Playoff Sunday.
And London Spitfire will be opting into the Widow duel, in spite of the fact that we see right here, Carpe and EQO are #1 on this map on Widowmaker. So Birdring gonna opt into a tough situation, but we know he's up to the task.
Oh, no doubt. And we know how good of a Widowmaker Carpe is, but when you want Carpe to run that Tracer, you put EQO on the Widowmaker, and he can certainly handle that as well. Here comes a dive from London, forcing back EQO just a bit, but his team is there to support him. So now London falling back into that server room, trying not to give EQO any more sightlines than they need to.
Yeah, you can see Birdring coming out of the glass on the top side, and then Gesture doing a little bit of scouting right here. Bedosian.
Ooh, that was a close call there. Bedosian showing his face, nearly got it taken off by Poco, or by EQO rather.
Yeah, Fraggy gonna jump into server more or less by himself right now. Carpe trying to follow up, but that is a bold and too aggressive play by Fraggy.
Yeah.
Ends up falling. Maybe they can resurrect him. We'll see if they have time.
Well, Fury did a good job of protecting everybody in there, but Prophet, no protection for him as Poco finishes him off. The payload moving. London still back in that server room, not able to pressure as much without that Tracer.
And Prophet also not going to be the target of a resurrection here.
Gesture comes in, stomps Boombox. He's going to pop the Primal Rage as well. Poco getting a bit low, but a healing is coming in time. Gesture finally has to back away. They get the res onto Boombox too via Neptuno. So Philadelphia not stopped just yet. That payload still moving forward just a bit.
The high ground still being contested right now. Boombox will pop the Transcendence.
Okay, now Fraggy's turn to go Primal, and he's going to try to keep everybody off. They just want to shove London out to push that payload. They've got him back in server room now. Transcendence was used on the Spitfire side. Boombox and Neptuno down, though, and so far, it's going to be London kind of coming out ahead in this fight. Fraggy down as well, and yeah, once those first 2 supports fall, it's usually only a matter of time.
You see the Resurrect 2 onto Bedosian, so London holding strong. And their reaction to Birdring dying in the duel to EQO was to rush the server room, play out of the Widowmaker sightlines from the Fusion side, and punish their positioning with a man advantage in the server room itself.
Right.
So quick collapse from the Spitfire. You can see how fast they adapt to these kills coming through. They know exactly where to hit on the flanks if they lose a member.
It really is amazing watching these guys sometimes. Prophet back in action again. Ooh, Gesture down though.
Gotta get
without the
revived.
tank. Yeah, the res comes in just in time for London. They've still got their Winston. Now Nuss down though. Can't bring him back up. He's a mercy. Boombox and Fraggy though fall. And Prophet just going crazy here on this Tracer. They've got Fusion pushed back again. And now it's a Tracer v Tracer. Carpe, low health already. Oh, but back into the loving arms of the defensive Matrix. But it's not enough as he has to flee. Poco demeched. And London still holding. Now just 45 seconds left for Philly on attack.
And this is why the London Spitfire are undefeated on Gibraltar here in stage 2. It's so hard to break their defenses because they seem to have every scenario mapped out in their heads. We are going to see an infrasight here from EQO, so maybe he can use it to get a pick off. He has triggered it now.
You just don't see teams play to their limits as well as London does defensively here either. That said, though, they do lose Bedosian early. Valkyrie used by Nuss, Carpe down, and now here comes the Transcendence from Boombox. Nice shot onto EQO from Birdwing. That's a big one, and now Neptuno down, couldn't get the res off in time. Gesture finishes him, and now he's gonna chase down Boombox as well. Tries to get back to that health back, but hey, just leave the Zenyatta there. Yeah, wait for Prophet to show up. And Philadelphia in a lot of trouble here as we go into overtime. They've really got no one left.
They've got
to
nothing.
keep this payload going.
And it's a self-destruct from Fury, so he could just stall them out on the payload itself if he absolutely has to. It's only Carpe there, and he's getting chased down by Prophet.
Yeah, I tried to buy time, but that's not enough. London Spitfire will get a massive full hold to kick things off here on Gibraltar.
Very impressive from London, what we expect from them. And anytime somebody died on their team, they would double down on the aggression on the back line of the Philadelphia Fusion. It was Gesture popping the Primal Rage and going in with Nuss when Badoshin fell. And then as soon as Gesture made space, Nuss doubled back to res Badoshin. So the positioning has just been exceptional for the London Spitfire. That's why they're one of the best teams in this league. And when they are running with this in clutch situations, we saw them play 14 maps in one day to win the Stage 1 championship, and you can't count these guys out.
I mean, it's one of the things that is the sort of the agony and the ecstasy of being a London Spitfire fan, because you've got those occasions where they do run those other rosters. They drop series to like the Gladiators, who did play well, but still, you know, you wonder if these guys were in from the beginning, how that one would go. But when things get serious, London just seems to kind of start looking unstoppable, you know?
Yeah, and that's like you said, they really play to the occasion, right? Sometimes they'll drop the silly maps versus this or that team, or they won't run both Prophet and Bird Ring together, which is their strongest lineup. But when they come out in these scenarios, Doa, they look magnificent.
Oh, yeah. Well, Philadelphia Fusion's going to need to look pretty magnificent themselves if they want to get any sort of chance of winning Gibraltar. Stopping the payload before it gets to that white box on the floor there is going to be pretty tough. And you don't need to be a pro to know that. Anyone who's played this map on the ladder knows that if you get held here, it's almost certainly going to be a loss when the attackers come in. So we'll see if Philly can handle it. Time to get things started. London Spitfire on the attack.
And Philly going to be running the dive defense, which is their preferred defense for Gibraltar. Bird Ring will be coming in. Prophet switches up to the Tracer.
I think you can just say preferred defense.
In general, yeah. Some people prefer,
most map.
You know, we see, for Fusion, definitely preferring the dive composition. Same can be said of the London Spitfire, however. Both these teams similar in their adherence to the Tracer Genji.
Yeah.
But this last time, we did see Bird Ring on the Widow in their defense, so.
Those shots onto Fraggy is letting Neptuno build up his nano boost pretty fast. And if you're gonna hold somebody, well, first of all, you need to keep your Genji alive, but also giving a nano boost to your Winston is gonna help too, but that payload is almost there already.
I have no idea why EQO was in the open on that sideline with the Widowmaker there. You have to play up against the boxes and you know, try and get scouting information. That's a big positional error.
Boombox down already, as you can see, Gesture low. He's gonna get taken out by Carpe, but London, we'll see how far they can get pushed back here. There goes Fraggy. Looks like the answer might not be much as Neptuno down. He uses nano boost too without really any benefit for Philadelphia Fusion. Built it fast but didn't get anything out of it. The payload is practically sitting on the destination right now.
Yeah, Fury's still pushing it forward, and now with the Infrasight, gonna be hard to hide. Self-destruct must be used just to zone the London Spitfire off, and it looks like Gesture is still gonna be battling in those front lines.
Oh, Prophet! Neptuno finds him, man. Poco demeched, and if you're London, here's where you start to push here. No Fraggy, no Diva, the tanks are down. Here comes the self-destruct for Fury, trying to stay alive versus Carpe. He does get back in the mech, and now Philadelphia in a lot of trouble. 0.67 meters to go. Fury with the double, and the Dragon Blade from EQO can't cut through the Transcendence. It doesn't work that way, and London takes a pretty resounding map number 1.
Even though the Fusion have gone 3-2 on that map, and they have looked great at times, particularly in their Widowmaker play. They can't get through the Spitfire defense, and that will be a full hold for London heading into Nepal, which is probably the Fusion's worst map in this series.
Yeah, man, I'm sure we'll talk more about that after the break, but 1-5 Nepal, a daunting prospect for Philly to look at after losing this first map. Don't go anywhere, though, guys. The match isn't over yet. We'll see you in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, guys, to the Stage 2 semifinal match between the Philadelphia Fusion and the London Spitfire. And London Spitfire, man, rocking it pretty hard on Gibraltar, able to get that big defensive hold. And one of the things you and I were talking about during the break was just how good London actually can play as a team, even with a man down in that situation. There was like a specific instance that we noticed.
Yeah, there were several moments of this, but we can take a look at a replay from Nuss's perspective, where it's Bedosian is dead, and watch what they do. So there's going to be a pick coming in onto Bedosian in a second here. Soon.
Trust me, he does die. All right. Yep. Right. Oh.
Nope, we're not going to see that. In fact,
at some point, Bedosian did die. And then what happened, Monte Cristo?
I will use my words to describe it.
Right.
So basically, on multiple instances, we were looking at a time when Philadelphia would get a pick to start things off, and it was looking good, like they were going to have an advantage. But what the tank line of the Spitfire were doing in conjunction with Nuss was opening space. So it would be Primal Rage popped, pushing the DPS back, and then they would return after the space was made to safely get a resurrection. So it was just about buying time while the res came through. It was beautiful play around the Mercy, and especially with the tanks and Gesture.
Well, it's so big, like in this dive meta, your Zenyatta is going to die sometimes, and there's not much you can do about it. But if you can kind of create some space, you can bring him back, allow that Mercy time to res.
Absolutely you can. And as we head into our next map, Doa, this is, I think, going to be a trick here for the Fusion. They are 1-5 overall on Nepal. It probably has been their worst map in Stage 2, unfortunately, and they almost exclusively played dive, the Tracer Genji combination, and it was a quick 2-0 when these teams met a few weeks back.
Well, it's been their worst map type in the league traditionally as well. I believe they're 13-14 overall, which, it's about 50%, but that's quite a bit worse than their records on other map types.
Yeah, their record on other control maps is better. It's Nepal that's really dragging them down at that 1-on-5.
Definitely hurts a bit, yeah.
But the Spitfire, they also ran dive on Shrine, which is going to be our first map here, and it is going to be Tracer and Soldier instead. So trying to play the poke game. I figured London would probably run more Tracer Soldier or Tracer McCree in this matchup because Philadelphia has gotten less aggressive and more reactive in their dive, which means that the poke is the way Spitfire should be going.
That's
right. They're not going to be as exploitable as they were in their last matchup.
The London Spitfire charging out of the point as we get things started here on Nepal. Philadelphia Fusion has to dig deep if they want to take this map, keep themselves alive in this series. Nepal's been a rough one for them, as we've said. If you're gonna win it, though, this has got to be the time.
Yeah, and it is going to be the poke battle here. So Philly's going to have to chip somebody down and try and execute this dive because they're not going to be able to deal with the long-range damage over a sustained period, rather. Got it out eventually.
There you go, yeah.
Of the Soldier 76.
Oh, Frankie getting a little bit low there. Has to jump away. There's a dive now from Philadelphia. Who have they decided to try to pick? Doesn't look like it's going to come through. Prophet Chester.
There you go.
Oh, it does. It does come through for Philadelphia Fusion. They're going to claim the point first. I thought with Frankie getting near death himself that they wouldn't be able to pull it off, but man, they did.
Slow encroachment on the side of the Fusion. They've struggled with Nepal because they all in too quickly. That time, they take over the point itself and force London to contest them at closer range. That's when they find their opportunity to close the gap and jump on the front line. So well played by the Fusion to start things off.
Yeah. And a lot of this matchup is going to be, who can sort of bait the other team into an unfavorable dive better, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you see both of our Zenyatta's have the Transcendence up next, so it could be...
There's one used.
Yep, there's two used.
That's right, both pop those Zenyatta ultimates. A Pulse Bomb comes in, though, and there goes Gesture. Neptuno, though, taken out on the other side, but Fraggy finds Birdering, and Philadelphia still winning this fight pretty convincingly.
Yeah, both teams dropping the Trance and the Pulse Bomb.
Oh, man, a late kill on Fury, too. That's going to slow London down even more.
Yeah, I'm wondering how long Spitfire's going to stick with this composition if they try and match the dive. Birdering has the tactical visor, but sometimes it's worth swapping it away because you still have chance to get a Dragon Blade right now. They have to play into the ultimate of EQO. They need that sound barrier. They will get it before the next fight.
Yep. Philadelphia just kind of trying to make it tough for London to even get on the point right now. Fraggy down early, though. Got a little bit too far forward, it looks like. They were able to burst him down, and now it's a 6v5 in favor of London. Philadelphia Fusion just falling back, playing this one very measured. They're going to just try to delay long enough for Fraggy to return. Pulse Bomb doesn't quite get the stick. Here comes the sound barrier now from Neptuno, and that's going to be Philly charging forward. Now the sound barrier on the London side. Tac visor used by Birdring as he tries to find a couple picks. He's going to get Boombox, but then get eliminated by Fraggy. Philadelphia still in this one for now, but Poco nearly out of his mech. It's going to get rough if he gets demeched, and he does. Prophet still sitting on that Pulse Bomb as well, and with that kill on a Fraggy, probably not going to need to use it. We're into overtime though. Philadelphia Fusion 99%, but the point will flip.
London able to grind it out thanks to the later sound barrier protecting Birdring, so they waited just long enough for the Philadelphia Fusion sound barrier to fade away. At the end, that's when the tactical visor comes through and cleans up the kill. Birdring able to position aggressively thanks to the overshield from the Lucio.
We'll talk about aggression. Here comes Philadelphia Fusion onto the point right away. That's right, Boombox maybe. No trouble after all. EQO there to protect his Zenyatta. And now the Transcendence comes in. Once again on both sides. People trying to say alive, and here comes EQO with the Dragon Blade. He can win the point right now with this blade. It looks like he's nearly done it. Cutting the mech apart from Fury at the end of it too. And goodbye Prophet. He has to exit the fight, overtime expiring, and it's actually gonna be Philadelphia Fusion taking the lead on Nepal.
And there is an excellent example, Doa, of how they've changed their dive play style.
Absolutely.
They were so much more patient than we saw them in stage 1 or earlier in stage 2. Their struggles were with Fraggy going in too early or using his jump to engage, which allowed previously the Spitfire to jump onto Boombox and kill him first. That did not happen there. London was trying to exploit positional errors by having the larger amount of poke damage, but Philly did not offer it to them. And so they will take a lead here on Nepal going into Village, where we may see some interesting compositions. Certainly Philadelphia is mixing it up. They played dive here on London last time.
Yeah, this time going with the triple tank though. Just Carpe on the DPS, and they're gonna run the Moira Lucio for a lot of AoE healing, a little bit of speed boosting.
And they're confident in running this, Doa, because they don't think the Spitfire are gonna run.
Oh, it's a battering ram, and Bedosin, the one who falls first. They're gonna run right into the door, and a great pick to start things off with for Philly.
That's exactly what you want to see. So Philly really changing their strats this time around, and because London is not fundamentally a Aura team, they're going to run it, and instead they're going to try and break this with Reaper and triple tank with their own Moira. So instant pivot from the Spitfire, but they will be more dealing more damage with that Reaper on the point itself.
That's right, Carpe coming from behind, going to get a good look at what Spitfire's going to throw at them. London onto the point right now, trying to flip it over. Just trying to stay strong, and there's Birdring taking out one tank already with that Reaper. Things going swimmingly for London so far. There goes EQO. Man, Birdring going to work on this counter pick. Can they complete the fight, though? We will see. Gesture down. That's one for Carpe. Now he goes into the Pulse Bomb and finds Prophet. 2 tanks for 2 DPS on both sides, but London able to flip the point anyway and just barely push Philly back.
And this is a throwback, Doa, to the London Spitfire of stage 1. We saw them running more of this tank Reaper setup on Junkertown than any other team in the Overwatch League. But they know how to play the point, and they're not afraid of the Fusion, because the Fusion are also not playing Pharah when Shadowburn is out of the lineup.
It's going
to be a brawl. It's going to be a brawl, Doa.
I like it. I'm ready for this. Birdring getting ready. They're going to use. So Fraggy in a lot of trouble here. Getting low, separated from his team. He fell off the high ground. Prophet down though. Fraggy still barely alive for the moment. EQO has that Zarya shield, and there goes Birdring. Boombox finds a massive pick. Bedosian has to back away, so Philadelphia starting to flip this one back again. EQO demech, but it looks like it's not going to matter. They might have the point after Fury goes down. Yeah, it looks like they will.
They are going to push it back, Doa, and it's because Fraggy miraculously doesn't die. They committed so many resources to attempting to kill the Fusion Reinhardt. He lives. EQO does not get demeched. You see how low they are on the left side of your screen right there. If either of those kills are finished, it is over. But instead, it's just Boombox free-firing onto the unshielded members on the high ground to block them low.
Carpe somehow avoided all that. Birdring Try to get him now. The Graviton Surge used. Bedosian, though, caught by the Pulse Bomb on the Carpe side. Goodbye, Birdring again. Boombox finds him for the second fight in a row. And now they're charging in with the Transcendence to finish off the rest of London.
Yeah, Prophet and Fury going to save their ultimates here. They know the fight is lost, and they force the Transcendence out late from Boombox. So no support ults up or available for the Fusion. Spitfire, they've got another fight here to use their crowd control and their support ults that are coming up, particularly this Coalescence, to retake the point.
All right, they've got that self-destruct as well. Prophet sneaking from behind. Oh no, he's got the Graviton Surge. Could get a good one. And he's just gonna lob it in there, man. He catches Fraggy. Fraggy gets charged, goes down, and now London swinging way bigger. Shatter comes in from Gesture, and London in prime position to flip this one back again, but it's going to be at 99% for Fusion. If they can flip it at all. Carpe down, looks like Neptuno gonna be taken out as well, and yeah, London will reclaim the point.
But even though the Fusion lost to Toa, they're still in great shape. Because Bedosian died early on, they forced both the Graviton and the Shatter to be used by the Spitfire. Bedosian coming back with the Coalescence, but Neptuno has a chance here to build back up to a sound barrier. So Fusion, they've got a couple fights left. We have to see the Spitfire be very judicious about how they use these support ultimates. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves in a late round scenario without any protection.
I think a pretty wise swap over to the Junkrat for Birdring, too. You can build that Riptire fast. You can cause a lot of trouble for the enemy team, and throws that Concussion Mine in already. He's going to get chased by Poco. EQO finishes him off on the Diva, actually. Now Prophet on the point, getting pushed back himself. EQO about half health. Carpe waiting. Didn't find an opportunity in the backlines for that Pulse Bomb maybe now. Ooh, I don't know, Prophet down. Coalescence used by Philly as well. They drop the sound barrier. They want this fight. They want this map so bad. They flip it, and we're back to overtime. 98% for London, but it may just be Philadelphia Fusion. Against all odds, they will take Nepal.
That is a massive win for Philadelphia, coming in and taking their statistically worst map in this series and turning it into a W is something that is going to keep them alive at least till King's Row.
All right, suddenly we have
this is very interesting.
A much more exciting series here, man. I don't think anyone, maybe not even Philly themselves, expected to win on a map like Nepal that has been so difficult for them. And they've guaranteed themselves a chance to at least get to King's Row, which is a great map. This series is getting sick, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
That was a sad Panda Bear on Gibraltar, but the Fusion bounce back and take Nepal. It's all tied up at 1 apiece. Welcome back, everybody. We are live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles, California, and we are just halfway through the first match of the day here on Playoff Sunday. We, of course, have two. This, number 2 versus number 3, and so far, we got an even score, but it wasn't looking good for the Philadelphia Fusion early. London came out of the gate swinging on defense.
Yeah, it was so lopsided for Gibraltar. We were a little bit worried because Philadelphia just did not look like themselves. They were being very reactive, waiting for London to do whatever they wanted, and that's never good when the team like London can be so aggressive, even when man down.
Especially when you're playing versus a Widowmaker, right? You need your Winston and your Diva to be on point, but on this map, it looked like Froggy and Poco, they couldn't really coordinate the dives properly, and Birdring was able to roam freely on the Widowmaker. Profit harassing in the backline, of course, and it turned out to be a pretty easy map win for the London Spitfire.
And I said I really wanted to see that EQO sniper battle versus Birdring.
Did not happen.
Honestly, they didn't look at each other as often. It looked like Birdring was constantly in a position to play safe, but still get the picks.
Yeah, but even though I think EQO, he didn't really turn up as of yet, because it is his first final or playoffs, of course, on the stage, and meanwhile, London Spitfire, they're used to this, they can handle the pressure, but Philadelphia Fusion, they're easing into it, but edging closer.
Yeah, I think that pressure really mounted and was highlighted by the fact that the first kill came 1 minute and 5 into the match. No sniper shots, no nothing. They were just bouncing back and forth. Let the offensive team, from London's perspective, do their move, and so Philly starts slipping up, getting a little bit desperate as the time ticked down on the first.
Now, Johnny, you mentioned while we were watching the game, you said, I can almost see the tension from Philadelphia. It looks like they aren't as clean in their dives. The communication may be a little bit off. When we went to Nepal, though, it looked like Philly really cleaned up their game, and I know you have a perfect illustration of it. What were they doing in Game 2 versus Game 1?
Well, Monty mentioned on the cast, of course, we see patient dives coming out of Philadelphia, so I have a perfect clip coming out here, Insights, powered by Intel. And we're going to look at Shrine, of course, and the first thing I said was, why is no one taking all of this space on the point? There's no main tanks, there's no divas, all of this space is free on the point. Take it! But instead, we're going to see that Philadelphia, they're going to wait out, actually, for London Spitfire to force themselves on the point to contest it once the point opens right around here. So they're dragging London Spitfire towards the point so they can set up the dive easier. Right around here, London Spitfire, they're forced to move onto the point to contest it and prevent Philadelphia from capping. And that makes it a lot easier for Philadelphia to strike from all different sides, from the left and the right, of course, with these dive characters. So very patient dives, and not like Fraggy at all, just like Monty mentioned in the cast, of course. So very impressive patience coming out of Philadelphia Fusion, and a big part of why Philadelphia got away with the win on Nepal.
I thought like Carpe has been playing very strong in both games. EQO really turning up in that second game. But as we take a look at the highlights here from Nepal, the thing that kind of caught us off guard on the desk was so many tanks on Nepal.
So many
Both
tanks.
teams running triple tank in the second heat. You had Birdring running a Reaper. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Fusion decided to go with Carpe on Tracer.
And I like this. It's playoffs, right? You gotta bring the cheese, if you will. And I like that one team brought out the triple tank, and the other team just adapted appropriately and just stuck with it. Because, sure, you might be comfortable running the dive, playing with a Soldier, but instead, on Village, both teams just going at it with the Moira, the Lucio, and the triple tank compositions. It's just the kind of niche strategies we see coming out when it's playoff.
I do think this actually ended up benefiting Philadelphia, because when you ran the quad tank with the Reaper, they realized that Carpe just had a completely untouched Tracer. He was able to do whatever he wanted, and that was not good for London, because we know what Carpe can do. We were expecting him to be matched up against one of London's Tracers, but that didn't happen, so they had to switch off into the Junkrat to try to deal with it, but it was already too late. He was able to do so much work without anybody looking at him.
Absolutely. He had some success early on. Carpe had a lot more as that game went on. So let's talk about the second half, right? We're just 2 maps in. It's a best of 5. We're guaranteed to see Kings Row Game 4 now. And as we look at these remaining maps, walk me through it. We're starting with Hanamura in the second half. Then we're going to Kings Row, and we could finish on Route 66.
And I believe London Spitfire are undefeated on Hanamura so far, so it's going to be a very tough game for the Philadelphia Fusion. But Monty and Doa mentioned it as well. Kings Row is going to be the deciding map if London wins, of course. And then we'll see if we can go to Game 5, deciding on the winner of those 2 maps. Kings Row is the big map for me, because Philadelphia, they can bring out the tanks once again, and we saw what happened on Nepal.
Crumbs, give me one player to watch from each team in the second half.
They can do that, but I think for the second half, it's going to have to be Gesture from the London Spitfire. He's been dying a lot, and not from his own fault. It's Philadelphia being very responsive and waiting back. The replay that Johnny showed, we have tons of those in which the Lucio, the Neptuno, is just holding so far back. He's even sacrificing speed boost and healing on Lucio to make sure that he can protect that Zenyatta when the dive comes through. So it's those two players for me. Their interactions are dictating a lot about the game.
I love it. And big shout out to everybody here in the studio today. We got Awesome Side Sunday. That is going to do it for our halftime coverage. The second half is coming up where we find out who is going to move on to play New York for the Stage 2 title.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
It's anyone's game as we are all tied up in this matchup between the Philadelphia Fusion and the London Spitfire 1-2-1. Now, I was talking earlier to Monte Cristo, and he was giving me a cool little tidbits about the match, and one that I found pretty interesting is the fact that the Philadelphia Fusion in the regular season only got 3 points out of 8 maps against the London Spitfire. So the fact that they were able to take an entire map should show you that they mean business and they have improved vastly. But guys, there's still a whole lot of Overwatch to play, so let's go ahead and get back into the action with our casters, Monty and Doe.
All right, thanks, Malik. And yeah, every time I hear that stat, it just like blows my mind. Because if you look at the way Philly is now, especially how we just saw them play in Nepal, you're like, that can't be the same team, can it?
Well, it was a bad matchup, I think.
True.
Previously, it wasn't really representative of Philadelphia's strength when we look at them compared to the rest of the field. But London had their number when they were running the dive composition. But now they switched things up. Nepal, which Fusion came into this match 1-5 on, looking abysmal. Now they managed to take probably their worst map in this series and turn it into a win. And that really does open up everything else right now.
Oh, yeah.
As the desk said, yes, the Spitfire are undefeated. They are 4-0 on Hanamura, but the Fusion are a respectable 5-2. So it's not like this has been a bad map for the Fusion. It's not out of the realm of possibility that the Fusion do take this one, but they did lose it the last time they played this stage.
I was gonna say, yeah, 3 out of our 5 maps in this series right now are maps that London won against Philly in week 2 of stage 2 just a bit ago, and Hanamura was one of those maps.
And we know how they like to play. It will be Philadelphia on attack first. They did run Widow on Carpe and then try and play the Genji on EQO, but they mixed up some of their strats, kept London, especially on Nepal, on the back foot by varying into a triple tank that we might usually see them run on King's Row, onto Village instead. And London is going to play Dive on defense, even though they played Soldier Tracer on the defense, so more of a poke-style composition.
Interesting. All right. Philadelphia, of course, will be the ones attacking as well. They may just go. Well, I don't think we'll have Poco on the Widowmaker, but
I assume they're at least going to
have a.
Yeah, I assume they're going to try the Widow Genji again. Poco's just sitting on the Widow right now.
I think they're just trolling each other, man. Poco's like, I'm
pretty
gonna
sure
hold this
they are.
Widow so you can't have it, Carpe. I'm gonna play. There we go. All right, swapping things over. Poco still though. Over on the Orisa. I think we're going to see some last-second swaps. So there we go, Carpe on the Widowmaker, and Poco on the Diva. All is right with the world as we get things started here on Hanamura. Philadelphia Fusion managed to win Nepal. Can they do the same here on our Assault map?
Okay, it's going to be Dive versus Dive. London has typically dominated Dive versus Dive in the Philadelphia-London matchup. We'll see if Philadelphia can play more passively, but London is so patient at waiting for that positional mistake.
Yeah, that's right. Again, it's like whatever team can bait the other one into an inopportune dive is usually the one that can win the fight. Both these teams love to do that. Gesture going in. They're going to chase him down. Birdring falls early. Carpe gets a bit low himself, but that's a big kill for Boombox again. So what he made a name for himself with is killing Tracers on the Zenyatta. Start things off with that.
And that time there isn't a positional mistake. Philadelphia keeps grouped up and they find Birdring alone and easily dispatch him.
Abdoshin taking some fire from Carpe. One tick already though.
Oh,
Prophet
shut down.
taken out as he drew the blade, and Philadelphia Fusion rolling point A so far.
They are dominating point A. They're going to get this eventually, Noah.
Wow.
Nano boost onto Birdring, but that is a desperation Nano. He will fall at the end.
What a start for Philadelphia Fusion here on Hanamura. They're going to take point A for sure. And can they carry this momentum into point B? Man, Prophet losing that blade without anything. That one stings a bit. Let's check that one out. Boombox again. He killed the Tracer earlier. He killed Birdring. And now, oh no!
He had the Discord on him already. That was
man.
so optimistic. But look at London now. They blew a lot of their ult bank. No nano boost. They're not going to have the Dragon Blade. And Philly coming up on 6 ults now.
That Transcendence used on the London side. Boombox is going to drop his as well for Philly. Fraggy with the Primal Rage. They force Carpe out of it. He's got to get back to the point right now. Ooh, Fraggy in a lot of trouble. Got to get away. He's getting low. Can they keep him healed up? Looks like they barely can't quite do it. He couldn't make it to his healers in time. And now it's time for a bit of a reset if you're Philly.
Oh, that was such an opportunity for the Philadelphia Fusion, though.
It really was.
The Transcendence and the Primal Rage come out with virtually no value, so London will have a short reprieve as they're able to get some of their own ults up. That could have been a massive snowball from the Fusion and a quick point B, but Spitfire will end up stabilizing.
Yep. So 5:30 still in the time bank for Philadelphia Fusion. Lots of time to get point B done, but of course, the faster you can do it, the better spot you are in for winning the map.
They still have a Sound Barrier and a Dragon Blade against no support ults from London, so still a chance here.
Birdring sneaking around the back here. Can he find a juicy support to put this pulse bomb on? He'll take it, tank as well. There goes the mech for Poco. That's the self-destruct coming in for the Philadelphia side. Now the Nano blade out, cuts Poco down before he gets back into his mech. Sound barrier used by Neptuno. Philadelphia comes back with their own blade, but EQO can't get much done either. The attack continues maybe for Philly. No, they may have to back off with this one. milling around near the high ground.
I think if you're EQO, you have to save that blade. He does switch over to the soldier anyway, so perhaps a planned swap where he wanted to get rid of and see it. Maybe he could do some damage, but there were too many members already dead on the side of the Philadelphia Fusion to come up with a big Dragon Blade play there. Will be EQO now trying to push forward on the soldier, and Prophet will be the first to fall.
Nice biotic field. That extra healing actually came in big for Philadelphia Fusion. Help him push back the dive. Nuss getting low. EQO nearly domed by some Zenyatta shots, rather. There we go. Meanwhile, Primal Rage comes out for Gesture. There's a Transcendence from Boombox. Once again, trying to keep people alive. EQO with a big kill on the Gesture there. Good focus from Philly. And now Fraggy, anti-healed, has to take a bit of a break before he comes back.
Nano boost on a Bird Ring again, so he's trying to push them back and running straight at the tanks and supports, but he will fall.
Well, they got Fraggy before that, and now Prophet cleans up Neptuno, so it looked like another fight that could have gone Philly's way, but they couldn't quite pull it off. They will have the tack visor, though, for the next push.
Yeah, that's all they're going to have, really, though, Doa. Maybe they can get a sound barrier.
Sound barrier, yeah.
If they can retain that extra little bit of damage percentage from the Lucio, but I don't know. I think Spitfire, they're still going to be feeling good about their ability to defend here. They're probably going to play an aggressive defense. They can't let the soldier get onto the high ground. He should be the first target as Prophet nears the Dragon Blade.
Yep. Carpe should have his pulse bomb as well. If you can get that soldier up on the high ground with the tactical visor going, that's usually where we see teams win this point. EQO backs away, the dive comes in from London again. Battlefield down, there goes Bedosian. Carpe found a big pick with that pulse bomb, and now that high ground with the tack visor, that's where you want to be. If you're the attacking team with the soldier, everybody's scattering on the side of London Spitfire. Fury gets demeched, he's going to go ahead and use that self-destruct. EQO again trying to stay alive. They can't quite kill Fury before he gets back in the Diva suit, and now the dive comes in on the high ground, and there goes EQO. Not enough momentum built up by Philly on that attack, and now if you're the Fusion, what do you have?
Well, they didn't have any pressure on the point, Doa, so you could use the sound barrier and the tack visor, but it was a Winston sitting in his bubble. Yes, you get the DMAC onto Fury, but when the bubble's there, the mini Diva simply runs next to the bubble. Great Winston barrier placement, and is able to remax. So you got basically nothing. There was no damage to even block with the sound barrier there, and there was nobody contesting the point.
Right. And there's a Dragon Blade coming out right now for Prophet. Pulse Bomb comes in as well. Whoa, Neptuno and EQO caught by that one. Oh, big plays for London, and now the efficiency with those defensive ults starting to come in. Still 3 more to rely on, both support ultimates. And they're starting to kind of push Philly back with ease.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at this replay, too. You can see Bird Ring going to come around the side, and there's a Dragon Blade there, too. So they force out the trance, but that clusters everybody up.
Yep.
You can see the DPS making a Philadelphia sandwich. I think there's a name for that.
I think so. Doesn't come to mind at the moment. I don't know what you're talking about. Boombox down early. Nano boost onto Fury, just trying to put a lot of damage into him. Goodbye, Neptuno. That's another attack push back for Philadelphia. They're down to 1.5 minutes in the time bank. They need to make something happen quick, or they might just get stalled out right here on point B.
Yeah, that was such a brilliant play from the Spitfire, though. You use a low value. Usually you trade like the Dragon Blade for the Transcendence and feel good about that, but then you can couple it with a low value ultimate like the Pulse Bomb and really guarantee that fight. We see more and more teams here fighting at the choke point defensively on point B of Hanamura, and it becomes such a chore to get through. This is a long flank. It's only Fraggy on that side. Carpe's trying to join him.
Yeah, he does get over there eventually here, but like the voice said, 60 seconds remaining here as Fraggy jumps onto the high ground to join the rest of his team. He's going to use the Primal Rage. Sound Barrier committed as well. Bird Ring's Pulse Bomb not quite finding the targets, but he's found. Meanwhile, EQO pops attack visor again on that high ground. Just firing away, trying to find somebody. Fury getting a little bit low. There's a DMEC. And Fury not going to get back in there. Self-destruct not going to do enough damage. But it does look like London finding the kills they need to win the defensive effort one more time here. Gesture over on the Roadhog now, and just 20 seconds left for Philadelphia Fusion.
Yeah, they are going to switch back. So Bedosian now resetting on the Zenyatta after moving to the Mei. Is Gesture going to stay on the Roadhog? No. Winston it will be. They have a nano boost. Boombox is going to have to use the Transcendence to deal with that. Gesture presumably will be the boost target.
Bird Ring on the Tracer as well. He was on the Widow for just a second. Here comes Philadelphia.
They're doing it with Prophet, looks like.
They got to go in with this attack right now. Philadelphia trying their best, but here comes a Nano Blade. Cutting into the Transcendence, goes right through Neptuno. And that's a problem for Philly already. Nuss down, there goes Profit. So maybe Philly has a chance to push this one. The defensive respawns are big, but they've got one tick at least. Going for two, they've got 2 ticks. Can they clean up the respawn? So Boombox is there, they've got the healing, and in the last moments, Philadelphia Fusion will take 2 points.
Heroic attack from the Fusion, but you have to ask why they nano boosted Profit in that situation. They needed to keep track of the Transcendence and force Boombox to use it before the Nano Blade came out. You can't trade 2 ults for a Trance, that's not efficient. And instead, they fall on the point. So yes, they got a kill out of it, but it could have been so much more. Philadelphia exploit that, stick to the point, ignore the nano boosted Genji for the most part, and are able to power on through.
You know, on the London side too, you got to wonder what the comms were like. You know, maybe they kind of lost track that Boombox might have his ultimate up there because, like you said, if you know there's a Transcendence on the other side, you maybe don't want to send in the Nano Blade, but it does a lot of damage. He did cut down Neptuno through it, but they needed a bit more.
Yeah, but I think like also just the damage reduction, if you have it on the Winston on the point, then you're able to hold on there a bit longer.
I agree. Yeah.
So I think it was just a complicated scenario, but and they could have thought too that they were going to kill Boombox before he was able to trance if they had more damage onto the Genji.
Sure.
But it just didn't work out. Boombox was quick on the trigger. Philly handled the ultimate economy much better.
That's easy for us to say, man. We've got the bird's eye view. We can see all.
That's right. That's right. It is easier for us to say, especially after the fact.
A painting sideshow on that roof. Why would they do that?
It's a beautiful sideshow picture.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, why don't we just give up on this and go fly a kite? Huh?
It's more of a it's a windsock.
I guess so.
More of a windsock, less of a kite.
I mean, is a windsock a type of kite though, or is a kite a type of modified windsock?
I think that'll be.
Deep thoughts with Dylan Monte Cristo. There you go.
All right,
London on the attack here.
Yeah, they're going to be running McCree. So they did do this last time they played against the Fusion. It was quite punishing because of some positional errors the Fusion made, but they're making way fewer positional errors this time around, and they should be expecting the McCree because they've seen it from London before.
Oh yeah, I mean the dive from Philly last time these 2 teams played looked totally different than it does now. In terms of quality, Birdring backed away, and like we said, Fraggy finding one early. EQO down, but they do grab Nuss as well, so coming out on top of that one in the end, and EQO able to get back to the point fairly quickly.
Yep. Using their better mobility with the dive composition to punish London as they try and make it through the choke point. That'll be another setup here. Birdring is going to stick to the Cowboy.
Yeah, diving in now are the London Spitfire. Poco back in there, and Carpe a little bit on the side here. Needs to run back to his healers for the moment.
Fraggy is flanking right now. He's over there.
On flank, man, going after the supports. He needs a bit more help there, maybe.
Carpe.
Help arrives in the form of Carpe to finish off Birdring.
Birdring was caught outside of the central choke point. He couldn't make it through because his tanks were trying to collapse onto Fraggy, and Fraggy simply jumped away. So now we see Philadelphia reacting to the positioning so much better than in their last meeting against London.
Oh, Boombox wins a 1v1. And Philadelphia Fusion still holding here on A. Man, Boombox has really been performing great in the last 2 maps.
Yeah, he has. And that's honestly, in the last matchup, he was dying a lot, but it really wasn't his fault. It was the fault of his tanks overcommitting most of the time. But now that he has more defense from Poco and Fraggy, he's been able to get a lot of damage done and shut down some of these Spitfire DPS.
Didn't even do that with the right click there. That was straight up left click accuracy.
Nano boost onto Fraggy. Now he's going to go up and outside over the top of the building.
Comes in on the Profit. He's going deep, man.
All right, he gets out, but that cost him a nano boost and a primal. So
yeah, I don't know about that.
That was certainly not worth it. However, they have plenty of other ultimates, Doa.
True enough. Got to use that efficiently, though. You can't waste too many of them. Now the dive comes in onto Nuss. A little bit low. Pulse Bomb comes out. That's going to force a Transcendence from the Zenyatta on the London side.
They're going to be creeping around EQO. Is going to find any targets. Yes, gets Bedosian, but his supports are already dead. Both supports from the Fusion are down.
That's a big problem here as EQO doesn't have anyone to keep him up. He has to survive in his own way. There's the self-destruct. Can he get onto Carpe in time, or rather not Carpe, onto Fury? Meanwhile, it's a Genji battle, but EQO low health, can't survive it. Birdring goes after Carpe now. Can they stop London from taking the point? They've eaten up a lot of the time bank, but it looks like this may be it.
No, they're not going to be able to stop them, but London is not going to come into
coming
B
back
with a lot of snowball potential.
They're gonna try.
Oh, I guess they're going to try.
They're going for it, man. Philly comes in. They're diving the point right at the end, trying to stop London from taking A. There's the self-destruct from Poco.
Fraggy.
That's right. Gonna try to just zone people out. Oh, they've nearly got the Lucio already. Nuss had to exit that fight in a hurry. Gesture down. That's a big pulse one from Carpe. Braggy as well. Both Winston's out of commission. Birdering takeout charged over by the Diva, and Carpe finishing off so many of these. They may just have done it. 30 seconds left for London to try to finish point A.
And it's only Bedosian and Nuss, just the London supports that are alive.
That's
and
a big
just
stagger.
Nuss now.
Oh,
the stagger is huge.
That's going to take
the Fusion.
and that's going to take the most of the time remaining that they have to attack this.
That was all Neptuno, Doa. He managed to get the Nano Boost onto Fraggy. Not hard, but also Sleep Gesture at the same time. And those two factors are what turned it around for the Fusion.
10 seconds, man. Philly on the verge of winning this map. They're going to go Erasmus with the dive. Another sleep comes in. Bedosian falls. They do lose Neptuno, but it's a great start for Philly. Now the Primal Rage, and EQO wants to put this one to bed right now. We're into overtime. Remember, they only needed one tick, but as Prophet falls, there goes OT, and Philadelphia Fusion will take a lead in this semifinal.
And they will deal the first Hanamura loss to the Spitfire of the Overwatch League.
Wow.
And Philadelphia, who has not won a single map coming into today against London, is now up 2-1.
What a crazy series. And like we said earlier, it's all about Kings Row, guys. This is supposed to be the big map for Philly, and it's going to be the map that we will see them try to win the semis on right when we come back in just a few. Don't go anywhere, guys. This match is insane. We'll see you in just a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
watching. Wow! That's all I have to say right now is just wow. The desk certainly did not expect this outcome so far, and I mean, yeah, Gibraltar was a bit of a one-sided affair, and I talked to the Fusion that said they just didn't really know how to deal with Birdring on Widowmaker. So I looked at their coach and was like, really, you didn't expect Widowmaker on Gibraltar? And he said, well, yeah, we did, but it's Birdring on Widowmaker, and that just makes it really hard. And I guess everyone in here would agree with that statement. Now, heading on to Nepal. Well, Fusion certainly surprised London on that map, took it away, and now they just won Hanamura. And when I talked to them about the second half, they said, if we win Hanamura, we got this. This means we will be 3-1ing the London Spitfire. A vote of confidence from the coach from the Fusion side, as he said King's Row is going to be the 4th map. And you know what? We are really darn good on that map. I can't wait to see what they have in store for us. Can they take it away? What do you guys think? Well, seems like the audience definitely believes in the Fusion, but for now, let's see what they have for us. We're heading back to our casters for all the action.
All right, thank you, Zoe. Wow, what an awesome series this has become. I am so pumped that this didn't go the way the desk thought about it. One of the most awesome moments, perhaps, so far was Neptuno's defense on point A in the last map we just saw, getting some sick sleep darts. Monty, take us into it.
Yeah, let's take a look at this replay, because Neptuno and Boombox were really the heroes of Hanamura, and we're going to take a look at this last defense. Bio Grenade, Nano Boost, and there's the Sleep Dart onto Gesture. Nobody wakes Gesture up either, and that gives them the window of opportunity to start this. Carpe will actually get the kill onto Gesture right as he's about to wake up with the Pulse Bomb, so fantastic teamwork. If all of those things don't align for Philly, I don't think they're able to hold point A, but Boombox was also playing very well, getting a bunch of kills onto ulting members, ulting DPS, especially those Genjis that we saw on the side of the London Spitfire. So it's been a great series for the Fusion thus far.
Absolutely. And, you know, when all of us were talking before this match began, we said, all right, well, if they can make it through the first 3 maps, if they can win one of those and we can get to King's Row, then, you know, Philadelphia, these maps, King's Row and Route 66, are arguably their best ones out of the 5 we're going to see them play today, potentially. And now here we are. They've got the lead, actually, going into King's Row. They could end the series right here.
Yeah, they could. And we come into King's Row, we look at the wins. Fusion is 3-1 on this map. It's the worst map in the pool for the Spitfire. They're 2-3. So now the Spitfire in a do-or-die situation on their worst map. But we did see Philly take a victory on Nepal earlier, so
yeah, you never know.
You never know at this point in time. And what do we expect to see here? Now, the Fusion had a spectacular game on King's Row the last time we saw them. It was a lot of Poco Gravitons into Coalescence combos that were brutal.
Not something we see as often either, because a lot of Moiras right now will save that Coalescence for when they need to get the big healing onto multiple people, onto the tanks on their team. But you can use it into the Graviton Surge to get a lot of damage done too once in a while. So it was cool seeing them go back to kind of that style that people used a little bit initially with Moira, where you try to pair the Coalescence with the big, you know, ultimate wombo combos, and it worked for them then against Valiant. We'll see if they decide to try it again against London, but we could just see them go for something completely different too.
Yeah, and we do have to pay special attention to the Zarya matchups. Prophet on the Zarya, Poco on the Zarya. Both of these teams tend to use it on the attack, but when we look at the statistics, these two players on King's Row are #1 and #2 in Graviton efficiency, meaning they get the highest average number of eliminations per grav. It's not going into defensive matrices, and their teams are following up extremely well off of the Zarya ults.
It's going to be the high ground Orisa defense for London. We've seen a lot of this on King's Row lately. Philadelphia rolling out with Carpe on the Hanzo. They're going to go for the picks with the hooks, with the arrows, maybe even with a charge, who knows? Already into the hotel, our Philadelphia Fusion.
Yeah, the thing is you need a scatter arrow to dash up and launch into the enemy. So we're gonna have a flank, scatters now
exactly
back
what he's
up.
doing.
Can he get it?
Oh man, he makes it look so easy. That's 2 already. Carpe, the sneakiest Hanzo in Overwatch. comes in, and Philadelphia Fusion steamrolls Point A.
You have to expect that. We've seen Hanzo's come up in the rear window before.
Yep.
And if they're not attacking your high ground position, but that's smart. Target the Widow first, who's trying to get the longer sight line. Don't target the Orisa Junkrat hard point that you have to dive into and frequently just get hit by concussion mines. So much different approach. Carpe going to make it work. Poco will swap over to the Zarya, and now we may be seeing some fireworks here with the Graviton and a Hanzo ult or a Moira ult.
I would not be surprised at all by that. 80% already for Carpe. Gonna take a while before we have that Zarya ultimate. Now Prophet sending in his Riptire early. Oh man, he blew it up a bit too early. Oh no, it was still around the edge of the door, and Neptuno didn't take any damage from that. Now Philadelphia trying to push through this defense from London. Fraggy goes down early though, so London striking back. EQO in the thick of it there, but he's got the shield. The Dragon Strike comes through early. They tried to trap them all in the little, I think, bookstore there. I don't know, but it didn't end up working as well as they hoped. It looks like London are going to push them back for the moment.
Yeah, they are. Carpe still trying to fire in to whittle down this Reinhardt shield in the meantime. Poco coming up on an ultimate, however. Carpe only at 60%. Are they going to hold it or are they going to use it now? Shatter comes down.
Oh,
and
big
Shatter is massive.
That's right, counter Shatter used. And there goes Gesture Carpe with a big scatter arrow onto him.
Carpe abused the counter Shatter by having his scatter arrow up. So even though they got multiple members of the Fusion, there's no follow-up damage.
Nope. That means that payload's going to get some serious distance for the Philadelphia Fusion right now.
You ready for some Dragon in the hole, Carpe?
I am so ready, man.
As the Dragon Strike, Graviton is here too. They only need one good combo to push through to the end of Point B.
Now they need to survive this Riptire from Carpe. They're actually going to go ahead and use the Dragon Strike early there, just to try to zone London out, I guess, split them up perhaps a bit, don't get any kills out of it. And now the sound barrier comes in. Both support ultimates used by London as they try to force Philly back. Philly just waiting. They use a couple ults on their side as well. Goodbye, Fraggy. Big kill for Prophet. And now the whole hog for Birdring gets a bit done before he's taken up. But Carpe coming back again, lighting up that kill feed on the Hanzo, and Poco fully charged. That's a ton of damage with that Zarya. That shield not gonna last too long, and London forced back. Dragon Strike comes in. How did he get it so quickly?
Still not gonna get the kills out of it.
Doesn't matter, man. He got the damage done. He got the positioning that he wanted to out of it, and that's a fast Point B for London. 4:44 on the clock as they charge into Point C.
It looks so unlikely after they botched the Dragon Strike Graviton combo, but they're able to grind it out. Spitfire pushes them off temporarily, but can't maintain their foothold.
We've seen this before.
Back for another grab.
Oh dear, we've seen this with Reinhardt's.
Here comes the Coalescence. You ready, Noah?
Oh man, from downtown! Here comes the combo. Prophet down, London manages to scatter out of it pretty well, actually.
If Boombox hadn't died, that would have been much worse.
Yeah.
So a great grab, sneaking around the back. And even though it was long range, you rarely see players try to go for a grab that long. They're confident that there wasn't going to be a 180 matrix from Fury to take it out. But Boombox gets killed at the beginning and they can't follow up on it. It could have been beautiful, but it falls a hair short.
You know, Philadelphia is still with a lot of ultimates coming into this next attack, though. They've got other combos they can do. If they land a big Earth Shatter, that could lead into a big self-destruct. You can be sure that's what Frankie's looking for. All right, they're going to go for the Coalescence.
Now, they want to push forward. However, that's going to trigger the Riptire. Moira very vulnerable during the Coalescence.
He gets it. Fraggy with the
strike.
That's insane, man. Now it's time to drop Ear Shatter, turns and drops and blocks the self-destruct. What a play from Gesture. Fraggy cuts him down anyway, though. Man, that was some great individual mechanics from Gesture, but wasn't enough. Now they're going to have to drop the sound barrier to try to win this defensive fight. They do get Neptuno, so good start from London, but Carpe right there with the Widowmaker. That's two already. Starting to pop some heads, man, and the rest of Philadelphia following up.
Yeah, they have to fall back now. Prophet solo will get eliminated. Carpe.
Ooh, so close.
The Widow.
Apodosian trying to finish off. Carpe's in your window. That's a terrifying thing to think about. That payload nearly there. Gesture on the payload. Oh, Boombox gets him with the Coalescence. Carpe, again, so many finishing blows for this guy right now. And Philadelphia with the big numbers advantage. They're going to finish Kings Row right now. And they are going to do it with over 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
A respectable time to be sure on Kings Row. And now it's going to be up to the Spitfire to show us what they've got on attack.
That's right, and if you're wondering what it sounds like if you're the Philadelphia Fusion taking point A, well, you can find out right now.
Again. I'm flanking, I'm flanking.
Give a hook, man. Give a low.
Rest is.
It's okay, Diva no shit. Rest. Diva low.
Under there.
That is that. Nice. Diva one.
Rest. Odisalo. Okay, one, open. Yanka. Easy.
I like it that when Carpe rolls up the wall there and takes down the Widowmaker, he just says, I got one. It's like, oh, hey, that's a pretty big one, actually, Carpe.
That's what you want, though, the calm communication where everybody has room to be heard. I am amazed sometimes that this Philadelphia team can understand each other because they've got like 9 different accents, so listening into their comms can be confusing for me, who's not used to the way every single player pronounces these words.
They've done it. Maybe they have some sort of like a secret Star Trek translator or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure they're used to it after a while, but it is very entertaining to listen to. But you can see everybody has plenty of room to get their comms in. They seem cool and collected.
They do. And, you know, we've said it before in this series, but this really is a very different Philadelphia Fusion team than we saw last time they played London earlier in this stage. Their individual plays cleaned up so much. Their team plays cleaned up so much. EQO has become a bigger part of this team than he was then.
I guess the real difference is that they're just more patient. They're more patient and they're waiting for the enemies to make mistakes. They're setting up their plays better to match their individual skill.
Sure.
Now we're going to see the Fusion play the pick composition they ran on defense in their last Kings Row match with EQO on the Roadhog and Carpe on the Widow. So Spitfire should be aware of this.
Yeah, triple tank and Junkrat for them, as they're just going to roll right onto the point here. They're not going to waste any time, and there goes Neptuno right off the bat. Philadelphia not ready for the level of aggression that London brings already here on point A.
Well, their idea is just run all 5 people in behind a Reinhardt shield. There's never been a point where Carpe could get a shot. Now Fury goes up there to knock him off of the high ground with the Matrix. They make him look easy, so just roll in and try and contest with a Lucio speed boost, cut off Carpe, and that's their ticket to success. Birdring has a rip tire.
Well, it's just good research and good prediction by London Spitfire to be like, you know what, if they have the Widow, we're just going to ignore her.
Well, I think
not let her get the shots.
Yeah, and you also not let the Roadhog get the hooks. If everybody's standing behind the Reinhardt shield, they're not going to be bursting through it very quickly, especially when you have the Junkrat to combat Fraggy's shield.
Oh boy, that's a big earth shatter for Gesture, and I don't think this payload's going to be stopped anytime soon by Philly.
That was just an obscene gesture, Noah.
That was a gesture that no one's going to forget. They've already been fined for one gesture this stage. Got to be careful with those.
Gesture wasn't the one fined, interestingly enough.
No, that's not, yeah. That's right. So watch those gestures.
So now
they're always entertaining, though. That's for sure.
That is definitely for sure. Birdring with the Riptire still, so another opportunity to get a pick here. Carpe's going to use the Infrasight, try and flank. This is a flanking Widow.
Yeah, that's right. Riptire coming in on the side as well.
Birdring.
Man, Birdring is down. The tire, though, not quite yet. Oh, and he finds Poco at the very end. Did not know if that tire would get through, actually. Carpe just bouncing over Fury, trying to find the shot, but he can't do it. Away from his team a bit, and that's a blazingly fast point B. Holy cow.
Yeah, Carpe needs to swap. Yeah. It was cute to try and use the Infrasight to punish the Riptire. He actually flanked around the entire formation of the Spitfire and punished Birdring while he was immobile during his ultimate, but...
Yeah, but then he's like trying to Mad Max Fury Road his way back to the enemy team, and...
I mean, Fury just turned around and blew him up, so...
Yeah, it didn't work, man. All right, London Spitfire coming in now. Graviton Surge on the inside of the wall to grab Fraggy. They're gonna try to burn him down. He's down. London eliminates the Reinhardt. The payload's still moving. Coalescence on the side of Fusion to try to push back again.
They're gonna use the sound barrier.
They're going for it, man. They haven't lost anybody, so why not? Sound barrier on the Philly side, too.
Oh, man. Prophet is mega charged right now. He already is halfway back to another grab. This is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, that's right. Fraggy, though, he can turn it all around with a big Earth Shatter. We've seen it before. Gotta do it right now, man. Fraggy trying to get behind the shield. He's so low, though. Can they keep him alive? The Coalescence trying to do it. No, just a Moira on their side. They managed to keep him alive. He was on like 50 health. He's charging in.
He's going.
Oh, we're going pure Fraggy right now. A long-range charge. Fraggy in a nutshell right there, guys.
Beautiful charge. And that's going to push them back. Fusion stabilizing on point C. Spitfire still have a ton of time in the bank, but they have to make it through the host of Fusion ultimates that are available. Prophet is creeping.
At the desk, reinforced nods while a single tear rolls down his cheek. London pushed back for the moment. Bird ring with the Riptire. Ooh, maybe gonna find Poco here. Poco flees for his life, for his max life, I guess. Oh, Fraggy, though, gets caught. And now London pushing forward.
Graviton is gonna be used by Poco, but it looks like that one was eaten.
I think so, yeah.
Prophet still has his. It's gonna go over here, and that's gonna get the supports.
The support's getting eaten by the damage. For Philly, Carpe finds a shot onto Nuss. They weren't expecting the Widow to come back, but that payload is nearly there. Fraggy's sneaking around the back.
He has an Earth Shatter, but they know where he is now.
Yeah, sneakiest Earth Shatter.
Okay.
Know that he's there. Whoa, okay, well, I guess that's going to be round 2. London pushes the payload all the way through. You saw Fraggy try to charge at the very end of that.
Yeah.
He caught the edge of the doorway and kind of got stopped. Couldn't make it to the payload. 3:49 in the time bank for London.
It also was Poco, who looked like he should have been able to get back to the cart in time, was about like half a second late. So understandable from the Fusion. Seemed like they had it under control, even with the flank. Fraggy going for the big play.
Yeah.
So now will be the Philadelphia Fusion on the attack, and we'll see if they can close out Kings Row. They are coming in with about a minute and a half or so.
You kind of have to do
Less
something.
than, oh, sorry.
You're forgiven.
Thank you very much.
You kind of have to do something different if you're Philly this time, right? Because now London should be expecting the Hanzo, or at least checking for it.
Yeah, you do have to, I think, respect that a bit more. And what I like about what London's doing is they're going with the Zarya this time around. So they're planning just to fight on the point.
Yeah.
And this is a good composition when you're not worried about there necessarily being a Pharah on the enemy team. And again, both of these teams in this matchup are sort of defined by their preference for not playing Pharah. So you can get some of these weird compositions that are just so Junkrat and tank focused.
Carpe back on the Hanzo again. He's not going to be able to sneak kill the Widowmaker this time, since Bird Ring is on that Junkrat, like you mentioned. But he can still try to find those shots. Oh, they're going to try to dive him early here. Whoa, Fraggy taken out fast.
And now that they're off the Orisa, they're fighting aggressively for the point. This is a barrier battle between Reinhardts that we're seeing. And Hanzo, if he wants to keep up with the DPS into the barrier of the Junkrat, has to use his scatter into the barrier, which is not really ideal, right? You don't want to give up that cooldown.
Yeah, we saw him try to get a shatter onto the Moira on the other side too, but didn't find that one. Bedosian escaped with his life. Carpe propped up by his teammates. Are they going to go in? Jesper has the Earth Shatter. He drops it. Doesn't get a lot of people with it, though. Fury is demeched on the other side, though.
Yeah, they did get Boombox, so chance here for them to group up once again while Fury still does not have his mech available to him.
At 1:30 in the time bank now for Philadelphia Fusion. About a minute eaten up so far here.
Prophet
a little over.
A little bit ahead when it comes to the race towards the grab.
Uh-oh, Riptire is looking dangerous.
EQO got Bird Ring during the ult.
And he gets Carpe with the Riptire. Bird Ring finds that one.
He nearly got Poco too. That was super close there, detonating the tire on top of the wall to hit both sides.
Prophet looking to hit a big Graviton Surge. Ooh, that one comes in. Where's the follow-up damage here? Trying to deliver it to Philadelphia. They only get Neptuno, though. Now Poco falls. That's enough. And just a minute remaining for Philly.
But Neptuno was killed during his ult animation, so they didn't get the sound barrier. Now they're not going to have it for the next push.
Oh, man.
So here we go again. Gesture has the Earth Shatter, and they're also sitting on top of Nuss's sound barrier. Philly with 5 ults, though.
That's right, they gotta use him right now.
Poco has no charge.
Yeah, trying to get it behind.
Sneaking.
Oh, got eaten! Oh, Fury! Right there, they're gonna throw the strike in there anyway. London, though, the ones coming up with the big kills. The healing for Bedosian just too strong, keeping everybody up in Philadelphia, looking like they might not even be able to take A. They've got 15 seconds and one last desperate attack to do it with.
Oh, they use the Dragon Strike too. At least they're gonna have their support ults, but how are they going to get there with the self-destruct and the Earth Shatter?
Well, we'll find out, man. Fury coming in from behind. Riptire. Birdring gonna try to shut this one down as we go into overtime right now. Self-destruct over the top, no kills. But that's three with Birdring's Riptire in London. Looks like they are not going to allow a single tick on point A for Philadelphia Fusion in Time Bank. Wow, what a defense from London.
Incredible, Doa. You see them shutting down two crucial ults in the last minute. The charge from Gesture onto Neptuno while he's in his sound barrier animation. And then you come back again and have the long range grab eaten from Poco. You can tell they're adjusting now. Poco has gotten those long range grabs before in this map, but not again. They saw the Dragon Strike setup. And check this out.
Oh, charge. Gesture.
It was just so close. It was so close. And Neptuno did the right thing. The timing was just slightly off, and there was no way to stop the Rhine from coming in. He had the Zarya bubble on him.
Gesture taking the let's break it down a little bit too seriously. It's like, no.
And breaking him down at the end?
Yeah, he broke him down. And Lucio should really be like, well, I don't know what I expected.
I asked for this.
I invited this upon myself, really, when it comes down to it.
Well, now this is going to have to be a heroic defense on the side of the Philadelphia Fusion. And wouldn't it be wild going to Game 5 with each of the sort of safe maps in this series, Nepal for the Spitfire and Kings Row for the Fusion, where we really expected them to win, going to the opposite team.
Hey, either way, we're going to a map 5, and that makes me happy, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
London Spitfire on the attack here. Let's see if they can tie up the series against Philadelphia Fusion. All they need is just a third of the control meter on point A. A single tick will win them Kings Row.
Moving forward, they're going to be playing the same composition. They're confident in their ability to push through. Carpe on the Widowmaker, though.
Sorry, I love the Zarya shields on the Reinhardts. They just get to swing for a while. That looks like fun. They're on the point right now. London pushing forward.
It's the Reinhardt dream right here.
That's right. Birdring from behind, trying to keep the team a bit separated. Oh, that's a problem for Boombox. Avoided some of the damage, but not all of it.
Birdring playing Hotel by himself. They have to kill
Carpe.
Carpe. They had to get that kill. Carpe dropped onto the low ground to shoot through Hotel. It was before that Birdring just punishing them.
Profit down. Carpe finds another one.
There's a big shatter on the point right now.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, Fraggy taken out by the Coalescence on the other side there without their Reinhardt. An opportunity for London to push through. The Riptire's got to do big things for Birdring to them to finish it.
They have to get there. The percent is
it's
ticking.
so close. Birdring gets Neptuno. Can anyone get there? Poco there right now. Bigger shatter again from Fraggy. They knock down Gesture. The self-destruct comes in, though, for the Diva. Fraggy, meanwhile, without that shield, not going to last long. And London will take Kings Row. We are tied up 2-2.
Wow, Doa, and we are going to go now into Route 66, another map that we haven't seen the Spitfire lose in the Overwatch League, same as Hanamura. Philly was able to deal the first loss to the Spitfire on Hanamura. We'll see if they can do it again on Route 66.
Lots of big shatters, big plays, big combos. More big things ahead of us in map number 5. Don't go anywhere, guys. The semifinal concludes when we get back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, guys. We are going into Game 5 between Philadelphia Fusion and the London Spitfire here in our Stage 2 semifinal. This match has been way more hype than I think anyone was expecting.
Oh, it's been extraordinary so far, and now we get to see if the Route 66 vengeance will be coming in from the Philadelphia Fusion. They should be running something quite differently for the reason that we are going to see a substitution, an interesting one, though.
That's right. Finally in Game 5, Snillo, the newest member of Philly, able to play, subbed in for Route 66.
And he played so well against the Gladiators, and why they use Snillo, this is a pretty clear telegraph that they want Carpe on the Widowmaker and Snillo running the Tracer.
Right.
They were successful against the Gladiators using this combination on this map. So they're going to diverge from their previous strategy when they played against the Fusion, which is to run Tracer and Shadowburn, who is in on the Sombra.
That's right, and you keep in mind, too, like we mentioned before the break, Route 66 is an undefeated map again for London Spitfire. They are 6-0 on this map this stage. Philadelphia not so bad themselves at 4-1 over Stage 2. So
yes, but the one loss.
The one loss, exactly. The one loss was to London in that Week 2 match.
Still, that was before I think they developed more patience. And if you guys are interested really in the difference between Snillo and Carpe on the Tracer, Snillo is very sneaky.
Yeah.
He likes to go for the big, long flanks. He's patient in the way that he will wait for supports to get very far ahead of him from the enemy team and then come in and pick them off and sort of maximize the amount of time it takes for the enemy team to regroup and respawn. So he also can be found on the flanks at the same time. So it is a bit of a high-risk, high-reward play style, but he is a sneaky one.
Yeah, he does occupy a lot of teams' attentions in that a lot of Tracers will just be on your flank, poking you, building up that pulse bomb, and he'll really wait until a moment where he thinks he can absolutely assassinate somebody. And that's scary if you're a team playing against it, because you really have to be looking out for where that Tracer is, and if you miss it, well, hey, that's a objective gone a lot of times.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we're going to take a look at the Spitfire here. They ran Bedoshin on Sombra with Genji and Tracer on their defense. Last time against the Fusion, nothing fancy here. It will be Tracer and Widowmaker. So Birdring really opting into these duels against the Fusion. It's a very different look. There's a lot of dive in their last matchup. It has not been a lot of dive here today.
That's right. Philadelphia Fusion on the attack, trying to do what a lot of us thought was impossible. Win this series, go to fight NYXL in the grand finals for Stage 2. They put themselves in the position to do it, but they gotta have a good attack here on Route 66.
It's all about the sightlines. Both Widows on the low ground right now. Carpe looking, however, Birdring gonna be popping up second as they readjust their positioning. Birdring is on the back of the bridge from Big Earls right now.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Profit! What a shot to start things off. And what a shot to keep things going, I guess. Both Profit and Carpe res, though, after dying, but there goes Birdring. Snillo found him, snuck into the back lines and got him. Neptuno Boombox falling for Philly. So London does eliminate the supports. It's going to be hard for them to keep the payload going on the Philly side, and yeah, they will fall back.
Well, they can keep it going, though, because they're going to have to respawn. It's going to be a 6 versus 4 here as Birdring sprints back into the mix.
Yeah, and you just see the tanks for London camping the payload right now. They don't want to let that thing move a millimeter.
All right, Profit's back now, so we're back to the 6 versus 6. Carpe could not get any additional picks in that period. And Fury doubling back to be healed up. Nuss with the Valkyrie already. Compare that to Neptuno. You can see right now the healing has been much bigger, but it doesn't matter if your supports are dead.
No kidding. Pulse Bomb delivered, but not doing the damage that Snillo was hoping. But Bedoshin falling. There goes Birdring. One clip will take him down. Nuss had to use the res to bring his Zenyatta back. So now London just going to be Sans Widowmaker for a while. And there's a dive coming in. That's a big one from Fraggy, but he's going to pay for it. Nuss does fall in the end, though, so they managed to pick up both supports.
Carpe has come to play today.
He sure has.
The dies at the end, but Boombox still cleaning up. These grinding victories will head in the Fusion's favor the longer this goes.
Well, Jester has to back off at the end of his ultimate to get some healing here. Maybe Pulse Bomb, possibly, into the corridor. Snill's gonna toss it in. Damage happens, but yeah, the Transcendence denying a lot of that from Neptuno. Meanwhile, Birdring. Oh, Snillo going crazy on this Tracer for a second before Birdring shuts him down. It's been so back and forth on point A. Just when you think a team has the edge, the other one brings it back, but it looks like Philly may be able to maybe soon complete this one.
And they're going to complete it now. Doa Prophet is going to try to stop him.
Oh,
A headshot
what a start
from Boombox will say no. So London holds them for a while. 4 minutes to make it through the streets phase of Route 66.
Yeah, and here's where you really need to move fast because you need as much time as possible for point C.
Yeah, Carpe zoning them out as much as they can so the payload will be able to get some space without London being able to instantly jump on top of it as it comes out of the doors.
Yep.
No ultimates available for the Spitfire right now. A couple of zoning ults with the self-destruct and the primal rage here for the Fusion.
And Carpe just really being careful about exposing himself to Birdring. You don't want to get caught by that Widowmaker. Fraggy, meanwhile, going to pop the primal rage, feeling some pressure in that building, and he's just going to push London back. Goodbye gesture. Poco finds him. Can they get the kill on the Birdring here? They're juggling him, following him back. He will go down. And now Nuss going for the big res. Prophet, though, behind him. Nuss falls. Poco actually got that kill, and so Philly gonna keep the payload moving as much as they can. They got full supports.
Yeah, Jester's back, though. He's punting Carpe out of the trance, and he'll get the kill. So moving him out of the Zenyatta ultimate, and now he's going to be returning to the payload while his teammates are not harassed coming through the chokes from spawn. So Spitfire starting to stabilize.
Snillo doing his best Soon impression, just camping behind that payload. Poco finds Birdring again. Nuss goes down. Snillo, great shot there. Now he gets Gesture for the finish. And Philadelphia really showing why they brought this guy in for this map. Late Transcendence for Bedosian just to try to keep the payload stalled out. But now he's in a room with Snillo. That's not where you want to be. Pulse Bomb doesn't do the damage, but Boombox does.
And Birdring has had enough of Snillo, wants to play the McCrees, matching whatever Carpe is throwing out. McCree used frequently in Stage C.
Man, you can't spell Snillo without ill, and that's exactly the kind of play we're seeing from Philly here.
Yeah, and Birdring now with the McCree. Snillo has been unstoppable so far, getting a lot of the one clips as Birdring's trying to take aim. Carpe's been great on the McCree overall this stage. Now McCree comes out, you have a medium range to deal with usually on point C, and you can easily get people with a flashbang in these side corridors and rooms.
Neptuno falling early, but it's a pretty quick respawn.
Wow, how'd they get that res?
I mean, I think they just protected Nuss well enough to get Gesture back up again. That was quite the operation for London, and they're going to need to fall back anyway.
Yeah, that Philly should have pushed forward on that one. That was a bit of a freebie.
The one wonders.
On to Gesture.
Yeah. Transcendence used by Boombox as Gesture comes in. Flashbang doesn't get a whole lot done, but they kill him anyway. Now the Deadeye from Carpe. Thought maybe they could catch a few more people coming in. Nope, not going to work out. Still get some damage on the Fury. No, so low. Oh, man, it's so close. But in the Valkyrie, you get so much health back. Fury taken out either way on the London side. And Snillo looking for that Pulse Bomb. Can he get in? Onto Nuss, chasing the Mercy. Has to recall out of it. Didn't find the angle.
But the payload keeps moving, Doa, throughout all of this Philadelphia.
Yep. Oh, goodbye, Prophet.
The Spitfire away. Prophet is down. The Transcendence was just used by Bedosian on the payload. So that's one less ult that they've got to work with. Gesture has to use the Primal Rage.
Yep, that's right. Needed to live through that Pulse Bomb some way, but now Bedosian on his own. Gonna get focused down. Stays alive for the moment. Gesture, meanwhile, falls. The healers had to heal each other, and that left the tanks high and dry. Goodbye, Fury. He's going to get demeched as well. And man, the pressure that Snillo is putting on the back line is just unparalleled. It's Bastion time. Birdring out with the Omnic of choice here for the defense. He gets stuck. Welcome to Bastion play. Neptuno finds the kill on the Prophet. Mercy fighting back, and Philadelphia nearly has this one. They are so close. Gesture finish off. There's the D-Mech onto Fury. Can anyone else get back in time? Nuss gets there on the Mercy. That's not going to help. And Fusion will nearly finish. There we go, finishing it. Minute 23 on the clock. That is a solid attack run for Route 66.
Definitely. The ball now in London's court. Philly putting 3 points on the board, not phased by the Bastion at the end. Snillo popping off on that last map. To put this in comparison to Snillo, 24 eliminations, 14 final blows, a single death on Route 66. Poco didn't die at all. So, wow.
He is so elusive, man. You just cannot track this guy down. He's like Robert Denby. That's a deep
Precisely.
cut. That's a deep cut. Not many people might get that one, I admit.
But yeah.
Man, you can see why they put this kid in, though. He is incredible on Tracer. That was probably one of the best Tracer rounds I have ever seen in OWL.
Yeah, it's certainly impressive. And, you know, we thought about Carpe. He's been dominant this stage on Widowmaker, but it really wasn't about him that time. It was the fact that there wasn't anyone able to peel Snillo out of the back lines.
Yeah. I mean, just at the end on point C, you know, we talked about it while it was going on, but he was doing so much damage to Bedosha and Nuss that they had to keep healing each other, and that let Philadelphia just kill the tanks.
Yeah, he did 27% of his team's damage.
It's huge for a Tracer.
Yeah, it's really big. So, now, London, do they have an option here? Do they have the opportunity to adapt? They probably will also be playing Tracer Widow.
You think so? I don't think Nuss is going to be playing the Doomfist, as much as we'd all like to see that.
Yeah, unfortunately, not really going to be an option here. Just some fun in spawn as he goes back over to the Mercy. So, mirrored compositions going to be the name of the game on the attack for the Spitfire.
Yep. And Philly with Carpe, of course, on the Widowmaker on defense. Here we go. Defensive dive versus offensive dive. Widowmaker's looking for the shots on both sides. London Spitfire looking at needing to set a big time to stay competitive and give themselves a chance to win this series.
Okay, so the quick jump by Gesture trying to figure out the positioning of the enemy Widowmaker.
Yep.
Third ring pops up, see if he can find it. Carpe still on top of Big Earls. Now he's down on the low ground on the road.
Oh, wow. Boombox getting aggressive with that death. That was bold. Bedosha, though, gets caught by Carpe. That's a kill already.
Now they're going to have to back off. So Spitfire will not be able to res as Bedoshan died right next to the payload.
Oh, Boombox. Oh, he was ready, man. He was prepared.
Third ring peeking really aggressively.
Yeah. I mean, these teams both being so cautious about how they kind of like show themselves in the enemy team. They're both being very sneaky.
Yeah, but right now, London have actually managed to take some of this chip damage and turn it into an ultimate. So they have an earlier Mercy ult. That we're about to get his, though.
He's got it. Yeah, he's got his right now. So they'll be able to at least equalize. Oh, Neptuno uses his Valkyrie early on, actually. Nuss uses his. Both Mercies using the ult. Gesture down early, though. They couldn't keep the tank up on the London side. The payload still moving forward, though, courtesy of Birdring. But now the dive comes in from Philly. Oh, goodbye, Boombox. What a shot under pressure. And Bedoshan avoids the pulse bomb and gets the kill onto Snillo.
And that's probably going to do it for point A, Doa. Now they have the momentum to push on through. Poco
Seems that way.
demeched and killed at the last second. Carpe is going to be hunted on the high ground here by... Oh!
Hello.
That's a big kill. Actually finds Birdring, so... Opportunity, well, the resurrection will come through, but it's going to be punished by Carpe.
Wow, the hunter has become the hunted, and Carpe with 2 kills to put Philly right back into it. Prophet, though, hiding, trying to get the kill into Boombox, but he gets found out, can't deliver the damage. Boombox can, though.
That was really cocky by the Spitfire. They didn't send anyone to protect their Mercy while the resurrection was happening, and instead they get really badly staggered.
Let's see how Carpe got those
Well, they
shots
thought he
there.
was leaving, but then he's like, nah, you know what? I have a damage boost,
man.
so let's just go for it anyway.
Why not? Well, there was a bit of an attack from London, and that caused Boombox to use the Transcendence. They're going to use it also to help get the res onto Carpe. We see that a lot. Zenyatta setting up Mercies for a safe res on a crucial member. And talk about crucial. Carpe with a kill already onto Birdring. A minute 20 on the clock for London now.
As Birdring was coming out of spawn, Doa, he jumped up and shot him while he was walking out of the diner doors. Birdring is tired of this. He's on the Genji. He wants to be able to attack Carpe directly because he is straight up losing the duels.
No kidding. Carpe dominating in the Widow v Widow right now on Route 66, and only a minute remaining for London to try to take point A. Philly really on the verge of winning this one. Still a pulse bomb, no stick. Doesn't get the damage done. They do force the Valkyrie out of Nuss, though. That's something.
Birdring gets Carpe, so question is whether the revive will come through or not. Looks like he's not in a position to do it.
Oh, Birdring gets caught by Poco's self-destruct. Guess who's back? It's Poco's self-destruct. and he's got Birdering. Somehow they res the Genji, so London's still in this one, and Poco has to retreat.
With a McCree, though, so he wants to get in the face, trying to deal with the flashbang now. He's reacting to Birdring, and the kills are coming through for Philly.
That's right, Fraggy falls, but more on the side of London. As far as kills go, there's a protection for Neptuno to bring Fraggy back up again. They use a Transcendence, but now Vidoshin gets a kill on the Carpe. London desperate, they've got 10 seconds, or they are out of this series. Fusion on the verge of doing the impossible.
Fraggy went deep. It was a 5 versus 6.
We're into OT. Oh, goodbye, Neptuno. London coming back at the very end. They get Snillo as well. They might be able to take point A in overtime. Poco gonna try to live as long as he can, but there's the DMAC. And it looks like London may just buy themselves a bit more time in this series.
And Poco stalling that out is going to make sure that his teammates don't get split spawned. A lot of those resurrections, the respawns that were coming through, we're going to put them in a dangerous position far forward. And that little bit of a stall means they're not going to be punished by London. So smart move there. Because in overtime doesn't get you more of the clock, but it can save your allies.
Yeah, that was all about point B, the setup, buying time. To get that defensive positioning here. Now that Philly has it, they can use the fact that London still only has 2 minutes to push through point B, and it's all about point C. London could very well take this one. It's not a hard point to take, but if you go into point C with less than optimal time, man, you are in big trouble.
And now they're starting to poke around the sides of the Spitfire again. That's not going to be an effective pulse bomb from Prophet. Fraggy will use his Primal Rage to rejoin his team to counter this dive.
Yep, that's right. Wanted to stay alive. Gesture down Carpe, making sure that he doesn't. Birdring, meanwhile, backing up. They've got the DMAC, I believe, on the Fury. Yeah, there's the self-destruct. Kills coming through all over the place for Philly.
And that's a play that Fraggy would not have made, Doa, the last time these teams played.
Yes.
He pops his Primal to head to his backline and save them off of the London dive. Previously, he was investing his cooldowns to jump forward, and that would be counter Do. This is the work, clearly, that the Fusion and their coaching staff have been doing after the last meeting they have with London, and they look so much better.
They really do, man. The evolution that this team has seen in Stage 2 is just kind of unparalleled by a lot of the other teams in this league. Carpe keeping an eye out for the flank. Vidoshin gets a pick onto Snillo. That could be London's ticket. Now Poco having to use the self-destruct. A bit inopportune. Can he get back in the mech? He does. Birdering can't finish him, but he does have the Dragon Blade. Goodbye, Poco. Goodbye, Fraggy.
We may be into another overtime push here shortly, Doa, depending on how fast they can clean up the members of the Fusion.
We'll see.
4 will fall behind the steel doors as they wait for their tanks to respawn. Philly's going to have a chance here to make a defense before point B is taken.
Yeah, so 25 seconds. London, we'll see if they have to fight off Philly one more time before the end of point B. Looks like they will. Philadelphia coming in, trying to eat up as much time as possible. Prophet throws in the Pulse Bomb. No kills from that one. Now the Transcendence for Boombox. A win in the team fight here would be a win for Philly. Birdering trying to turn all that around. They've got Neptuno to start things off. And London may just push through point B unless Boombox with a kill on Vidoshin. That's one. They lose Snillo, though. We're into overtime again, and Poco falls, and it looks like it may just be another overtime victory on a stage here for London.
Yeah, they've got to deal with this, and Fraggy is not going to make it through. Birdring.
Yeah, they've got it. All right, Fraggy down a little bit late there. Oh, and a late kill on Neptuno, too.
Uh-oh.
London starting to take advantage of Philadelphia looking a bit scattered here in the defense.
At the very least, though, London is not going to finish with more time from the Fusion. They start point C with just a minute and 10 seconds to move this payload. It is basically not going to stop at all if they want to make it to the end. Yeah. And look at these ults that are coming up from the Fusion. Right. Another trance. We see Neptuno. He's got the Valkyrie. And Carpe must switch over to the Widowmaker because he has to hit his shots now to delay this payload.
Yeah, sound barrier used for London early. They need something to give them leverage in the team fight. Goodbye, Carpe. Goodbye, Fraggy. Nice stick from Prophet. London with some kills early. Neptuno with the res on. Oh, Snillo! Double kill with the Pulse Bomb. And Neptuno somehow finishes off Birdering, too. Big team fight win for Philadelphia. 30 seconds on the clock for London.
Yeah, Carpe knows if he can just hit a couple of shots here, they can delay the payload. So wants to use that Widowmaker. He's been accurate. His aim has been true today.
One more fight could do it for Philadelphia Fusion in this series. Birdring needs an amazing Dragon Blade for London.
They need the trance. They need the trance right now. They have to fall back and let Bedosian charge it. It's going to come down to the wire.
I don't think they have time, man. I mean, he needs to get some hits. Here's the Dragon Blade. Birdring doesn't want to wait.
Nope.
Gesture down early, though. Snillo finishes off another kill. Goodbye, Carpe. We're into overtime, though, and Birdring charged down by the tanks of Philadelphia Fusion. Can they finish this fight? Can they finish this series? Fury a little bit on his own, losing a lot of health right now. He's going to lose his mech as well. Overtime ticks away. Fraggy eliminated by Nuss, though. So London coming back, but there's a stick from Snillo. The Tracer trying to turn things around. They lose Gesture one more time on the London side, but they're back on the payload. Spawn advantage goes to Philly. Here comes a Transcendence from Bedosian to try to keep London in at both ends using those ultimates. Nuss caught by the self-destruct. A stick on the Poco will keep them in it for now, though, and Fury's still on that payload. They've got to push the Diva off. They've got to do it. Overtime would tick away so quickly right now.
That's going to be it,
Philly did it! And going into this series without a single map win against London, Philly in the semifinals will take it.
Absolutely crazy. Doa, at the end, we see the Fusion beat the Spitfire not only in the series, but they had to take maps that the Spitfire had never lost. Undefeated coming in on Hanamura, undefeated coming in on Route 66. And the Fusion will take both of those from London.
Yeah, and also that enormous map win on Nepal too. Fusion coming in 1-5 on that map. Rough map type for them. They were able to do it. What an amazing, amazing series to start playoff Sunday with. Philadelphia gonna go on to face NYXL for that shot at 100 grand. I'm liking this playoff Sunday thing, man. It's going okay.
It's been pretty fun. And congrats to the Fusion. Great upset here. Turns out the Panda Bear was right the entire time.
You know, I'm never going to question Chris Puckett again. It's official, guys. He was right. Philadelphia with a 3-2 map score will defeat London Spitfire in the semifinals. They are going on to face NYXL. That's going to start when we get back, guys. We'll see you then.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
The Philadelphia Fusion take down your London Spitfire 3-2 in a ridiculously epic match. Make some noise, Blizzard Arena. That is just the first match of the day. Does Overwatch get any better than this? We'll talk about it. We got Crumbs, we've got Reinforce. I'm your host, Puckett. Hey guys, let's jump right into this, because at the half, we were tied up. We're like, all right, Fusion, you got stomped in game 1. You're looking good in game 2. But Hanamura's coming up, and this is where London's undefeated, so we expected this to be London taking the lead.
We did expect that, but you got to remember, in these long series, the one that gets the second win for the best of 5 means that every single match from then on is match point. So it's a lot of pressure on London Spitfire, and Philly just rolled with it.
Yes, and it goes against everything we predicted. London Spitfire being undefeated on Hanamura, and then later we go on to King's Row, of course, where London won. So this was really unexpected, everything. Neptuna with a clutch play here. Nano boosting, of course. Fraggy jumping in, gets the sleep down onto Gesture, and then later hits a biotic grenade onto Birdring with the blade as well. So huge plays coming out all around on Hanamura. Boombox even, shutting down the Dragon Blade.
And Philly was fearless. They just jumped right in there at the end. You heard Doa saying, are they going to do this? Monty's like, no, no, no. I was even backstage with Mitch, and Uber's like, no way they are going to challenge this.
That's exactly
They're going to challenge this.
It's fearless, right? Because statistically, they looked like they were not going to put up that strong of a fight here against London. The maps were all in London's favor. The play, everything was going towards London's side, but Philadelphia just didn't care. They did not give a damn. They were going to play their own game and bring it to Spitfire, and it was good, man. Watching Carpe and Snillo pop off was refreshing.
Absolutely. So that game 3 is EQO and Carpe. Snillo comes in game 5, but let's talk King's Row, because EQO and Carpe is still in the mix, but not on the heroes we always see. Carpe showing up the Hanzo to open things up, and we thought it doesn't get better than the attack we saw from Phil.
Yeah, and I like what they're doing here. They're playing with the Hanzo and the Road Dog, and they're bringing up more of a poke approach coming into it. But the later this King's Row series went on, the more London Spitfire adapted to it. They brought out the Zarya Diva, had set a world record time on point A, 29 seconds. It took them 29 seconds to cap point A.
And
ridiculous.
That's the fastest in Overwatch history.
Yes, fastest in Overwatch history on the LAN tournaments, that is, of course. But then again, Philadelphia Fusion, they looked good themselves, so this was a really interesting King's Row with big ultimates, shatters, and gravitons all around.
It was my favorite game of the series, without a doubt. Gesture versus Fraggy on the Reinhardt battle. You saw so many clutch plays, though, coming in from the Divas. You saw Poco, who normally plays Diva. Well, he's on Zarya this game. He had 5 grabs, only converted into 2 kills. Fury, 4 grabs throughout that
And that's
game.
a huge deal, because Zarya is the kind of hero that when she has the ultimate, her fight win percentage is over 60%, almost 65. When she doesn't have ult, lower than 30. She's really not offering a whole lot.
And
with
one more
ult
time.
down. Yeah, it hurts.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Even when you aim him at your feet, Fury was there. He was ready. He keeps London in this series. Amazing defense, amazing take also from the London Spitfire. Sets up a game 5 on Route 66. And at the half, I went backstage. I saw Snillo outside of the team room. I talked to him. I asked, are you going to be in the mix today? He said, yeah, if it goes to a game 5. He's just 18 years old, barely old enough to now play in the Overwatch League, and he made his impact felt on the attack.
So someone in my Twitter mentions, they brought up the Mighty Ducks, and this is Coach Bombay putting in Charlie versus the Hawks. And Snillo turns up with a triple deke versus the London Spitfire. I mean, he just turned up big. I did not expect him at all to turn up this game. In what a fashion. He shut down Prophet.
I've never seen the Mighty Ducks. I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is stats here. And in the first half, Snillo, the league average is 8 final blows per 10. He hit 21. The deaths per 10 is 5. He hit 1 death. Eliminations over doubled the league average of 18. He was just outrageous. He died 1 time. It was 14-1 on the offense from Snillo. I mean, he was having his way with London.
London unable to get the best of the Philadelphia Fusion. Carpe on fire with the Widowmaker. We got a replacement Tracer in Snillo that is popping off in that role. How do you stop this Philadelphia team? Because remember, Philly, they matched up against London earlier in the stage. It was 4-0 in favor of London. They are looking so much improved since that match. A ridiculous finish here to our first series.
And it's just the diversity, right? We see Carpe now on the Widow. Earlier in the stage, it was just the dives coming in. Aggressive dives, Fraggy just leaping in. But now we see the Widowmaker coming out, and we see more of a passive approach. So just the way Philadelphia has changed up their game. So impressive.
Yeah, and they were actually frustrating the DPS of London Spitfire. We didn't even get to see Prophet and Birdwing be frustrated, but Snillo and Carpe were forcing out swaps time and time again over London Spitfire, which you just didn't expect that to happen. You thought it'd be more of an even match, but they just brought it to them, forcing the McCree, the Genji, the Widowmaker. It was all in Philly's favor.
You can see behind Crumbs right now, New York Excelsior getting ready for their next match, but we can't leave this one without crowning our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Who is it, boys? At the half, you said it was Boombox. At the end of all 5 games, it's gotta be Carpe.
It's gotta be Carpe, right? The way he turned up on all the heroes, Tracer, and of course the Hanzo on King's Row. I mean, ridiculous performance from him. And so, like, he's so consistent as well on all the different heroes. It's just what you need from your star DPS player.
Coming into their next match, if you're not gonna kill Carpe, Philly is gonna win. You need to pressure this guy. It's just not right. You need to have him be focused 24/7.
I mean, it is Carpe, but I have one player for you coming up. Saibylby is coming up. Can they take down
versus Snillo? SBB versus Snillo? I want to see that.
Tracer v Tracer. It's going to be fun to watch. That is just our first match of the day. We have our 2 teams set up for the grand finals. Blizzard Arena, make some noise for our teams. When we return, we've got the Philadelphia Fusion taking on the #1 seed in our New York XL. We'll be right back.
Огонь по готовности!
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.